Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umbraze, and today it's time. We have a new update here on the JP side. Let's talk about that update. And by the way, the toque is to offset the collar. Anyway, let's talk about this because Final Fantasy VI is definitely one of the most beloved of all of the Final Fantasy series. So when a Final Fantasy VI banner pops up, you take notice and you pay a bit of respect. But the real question is it worth your resources? And now that I've successfully baited the start of the video, we can talk about the units. Not super hard. Whoops, picked the wrong one. Let's scroll down and get the right thing. Okay, so there are two new units on this banner. There is no new 4-star and 3-star, much as it is most likely. So we have the brand new Kefka and the brand new Shadow. And because I think more people are, well, no, I'm not sure which one people are more interested on this. Let's start with your memes or dreams. Congratulations, Shadow, you have made it to the 7-star club. Before some other people, before really Zidane, before Firion, before Warrior of Light. Congratulations. The animation's pretty damn cool. Really nice that they put Interceptor into his sprite. Looks just great. I like the ninja thing, of course, and all of that. But the real question is this guy any good? Well, taking a look at his TMRs, TMR was one of the things I was the most excited for, and it's kind of a bit of a letdown. 50% attack up when equipped with a katana, 25 damage to human. It's not even a killer, it's like a... lot of noises going on. Anyway, it's kind of like a baby killer. Like, it's only 20, and that's probably not the best thing to say, but it is only 25% damage versus humans. Now, killers should not be underestimated. Killers are a big thing. This is essentially a lot higher of a stat increase, and it's on katanas, which have a lot of good users. You can put this on, you know, Axstar, you can put this on Orin, you can put this on Lightning, you can put this on Bartz. There's so many katana users that this is just really good still, but it's a little bit of a letdown. I was kind of hoping that it would be 50% killers and it would be absolutely insane, but as such, it's just fine. Now, looking at the Super TMR, I still think this is actually pretty incredible. 186 attacks, single-wield katana, that also has an ability, AoE 1 hit, 450% physical attack, 30% chance to stop for 3 turns. Now the stop ability isn't interesting, it's just not interesting in anything other than Arena. But this is an insanely powerful TMR, or Super TMR. It is really high. It is one of the highest attack weapons in the entire game, and especially the fact that it is single-wield and so many people can use this, I really, 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 really like this. Is it worth wailing for? Probably not. If you already have the Gilgamesh Kai trial Super TMR, then this isn't super exciting. Plus, there isn't an easy way to get this time. You need like 4 copies of this unit. So this is something I would really be happy if someone gave this to me, because I could make good use of it on a lot of different units. But whale worthy, probably not. Now, looking at the Limit Burst. Limit Burst is a single target 10 hit, 3000% physical attack with a self 200% attack boost for 4 turns. Now, interestingly, there is an upgrade. Sorry, I should say. When his for getting up to his max level 120. He gets a enhanced limit burst to single target 10 hit 4,500% physical attack with a 200% attack boost and a 4-turn 25% killer versus humans. Oh, when his HP drops below 21%. So just like the other Final Fantasy VI units, this seems to be a recurring thing with all of them. They get damaged enough, they get a more powerful limit burst. A 4,500% chaining attack is pretty damn impressive. It's 10 hits, which makes me think it's Stardust Ray, but I haven't tested, so nobody get too excited about that. So, yeah. But it is a potentially pretty interesting limit burst. You know, how I would be interested to test this, to say the least. Now, what about his stats? His stats are really good. 206 base attack, only 50 points extra put in, which is the big limiting thing, though, in his kit. Like, this is an attacker that can't put 65 points put into attack. This will be a major limiting thing, so even if he does have some incredibly high passives on his abilities, not having 65 points, extra points to put into attack is going to hurt him in the long run. And that kind of just sucks. Which is too bad, because the rest of his kit is pretty impressive. For passives, he has, attack, HP up, all that, 70% MP recovery per turn, 3 limit burst crystals per turn, 20% chance to dodge physical attacks, 25% natural killer versus humans, a limit burst fill rate up. He has some natural true dual wield in his kit, natural dual wielding in his kit. He has the increased chaining ability. He can use 2 of his abilities in a turn between some of them. Limit burst damage up, an extra 20% chance to dodge physical, so he actually has 40% natural to dodge physical attacks. Another 30% true dual wield, so puts him up to 50%, that's pretty good. And more passives for attack and whatnot. That's pretty good. Looking at the rest of his kit, he also has the ability to hide from battle for 3 to 5 turns. Not overly reliable, since it has some variation in there. A lot of his attacks can also give status effects, but status effects aren't going to be super exciting outside of arena, and even then, not very. 100% chance to be targeted for 4 turns, which is kind of interesting for a provoke ability, and he gains the ability to evade 3 physical attacks for 4 turns. Because, what enemy doesn't only hits once per turn nowadays in those big trials. Guaranteed escape, he has an AT chaining, which is kind of interesting. It also gives him some human killer, too. That is his 36 MP ability. Whoops, not that one. It is 36 MP, but it says 8 hits, unless somebody messed up on the data. Oh my god! Yeah. Interesting. It doesn't... Oh, It's not that one, but it's definitely in here. So, you might just have to take my word on it. But there is an AT chaining ability that he does have. He has throw projectile. He has debuffs for defense is kind of his big thing. He's not quite the debuffer we thought he was going to be. This really says 10 hits. Actually, that is the right ability. I think it's actually listed wrong. That should be 10 hits, not AT chaining. I may make an amendment in this video in the description if later I do find this 8-hit magic chaining ability, because it doesn't seem to be in his kit anywhere, like literally anywhere. Yeah, he has a lot of 10 hits, but I don't see an 8-hit chaining ability. I wonder if that is a mistake. Continuing on, probably one of the more strong parts of his kit is the fact that he can debuff either wind or darkness for 80% while giving him that element for 5 turns. Means that he can chain with some dark element chainers as well as some wind element chainers. The big problem here in all of his kit is one thing. His chaining ability. His chaining ability here is basically the 10-hit chaining ability. Now, that doesn't pair... I mean, that is basically kind of being the Final Fantasy VI chain family, as well as Red 13 and Yuffie. So there is some possibility here to get some chaining partners going. But it's not overly exciting because the 10 hits is just not a super popular chaining family yet. And most of the chainers that I'm aware of, except for I think Red 13, who can equip darkness to his attacks, this is not an exciting chain family so far, and chain partners are not super good, and I think that hurts him more than anything. He also has a really powerful cooldown ability that is a very high percentage, 1500%, debuffs 70% for 2 turns to enemies, and gives access to another ability. And from there, he also has a couple of chaining physical attacks, which we saw down here, that do a big debuff, 120% for dark, only 100% for wind. I guess Farts still is the Wind King, but the darkness thing is kind of interesting here. It's also on a 10-hit, high-hitting chaining ability, so it's pretty strong. And he has an ability that negates attacks and paralyzes, but that's not super exciting. And the ability he unlocks is a pretty damn strong single target 10-hit, 1300% physical attack with extra 800% extra damage each use, so at max of 2900%. While all of this is really good and stacking with the human killers, I think Shadow will be a pretty darn good damage dealer, all things considered, providing that you can get a nice elemental chaining partner. But the big problems that I see in Shadow's kit is that his chaining family is not super out there yet. It's not widespread. Finding dark element chainers isn't the easiest thing unless you maybe have Primrose lying around, and even then you need to have Walk or Doggo or somebody else. And unlocking his strongest chaining ability, he's just not a super high passives for attack, so as a damage dealer, he's not the most exciting, but he might be better than I'm giving credit for. Either way, Super TMR and TMR is pretty darn good by my reckoning, so should be good here. Obviously, you need to be against a human. Now, the last one is Kefka, and Kefka here is well, he's a unit that a lot of people have been waiting for. So, looking at his accessory, it is a 50 magic stat, 12 defense, 10 spirit, resist silence, confuse, petrify. This thing is really good. The only way it could be better is if it had like elemental on it, but it's just a strong mage item. Super Trust Mastery turned out to be a little bit bonkers, and we'll show the animations at the end. So it's this is a 60%. There are error listings in this. The Exvius database. Interesting. Very interesting. But here it is a 60% magic and 100% magic true dual wield. This is a bonker super TMR. Like, just 160% magic stat. The only problem is that it's not true dual wield. It's true dual hand. And true dual wield right now is the stronger for mages. So while this is really insanely good, it's probably not as exciting as I hoped it would be, because it's not true dual wield. Now, looking at his limit burst, this is insanely powerful. An AoE 3-hit, 3,300% magic attack that debuffs 65% spirit for 4 turns. It's only 36 limit burst crystals. It's super easy to get charged up, and it is just really, really powerful. The other interesting thing is Kefka doesn't have the HP drops below a certain percent to get a higher power limit burst. He just has that limit burst. He is reliable, unlike Terra, in that sense. Interestingly enough, he also has an up to to limit burst of 1.5 times naturally in his kit, so his limit burst is pretty damn insane. It's just pretty damn insane for mages. Now, looking at the passives this guy has in his kit, as well as stats. Stats focused in on magic, that's exactly where we want it to be. 217 magic, pretty good. Not the best, but pretty darn good. HP seems really good. MP seems pretty good for a mage, so nothing to complain about there as far as I'm concerned. 10% MP recovery per turn, passives for equipping rods and whatever, you know, extra spirit, all this. 20% chance, though, to counter with Roar of Laughter, which, for getting hit with a physical attack, he'll debuff the enemy AoE 40% attack, defense, magic, and spirit for 3 turns. Counter full break, pretty nice. He's immune to some stuff. He has a natural chance to dodge. He has extra damage versus humans, a full 50%. Some ice, lightning, and dark resistance. He is natural double, triple cast of his abilities, and he can unlock quadricasting. We'll talk about that later. He also has extra, true dual wield magic, as well as true dual hand magic, and he has just modifiers up for other stuff in his kit. Looking at magic wise, he has Thundaja, Blizaja, Bioga, nothing super interesting in terms of his spells. To show it off, there it is. And to look at his abilities, he has Flee, which is kind of funny, and his basically, there are a couple of really interesting abilities. One that will probably never get used outside of maybe Arena. 20 MP, Heartless Angel, 75% HP damage, seems really good. In his kit, all of his magic damage, for the most part, except for some chain finishers, are all Chaos Wave chaining too, and they are either Ice, Lightning, or Darkness. Ice and Lightning, not super exciting at this point, but Ice Chaos Wave chaining means that he can go with Kyoto Fina, which is pretty exciting. Darkness, he can go with Golbez, he can go with Transterra, he can go with, I believe, Terra, if she has Darkness still. I don't remember, I didn't get her. But stacking damage, backloaded damage on there. He also has Light of Judgment, which is kind of an AoE finisher. He has a couple of cooldowns that are pretty interesting too. Just trying to find them. Oh, they're way at the bottom. A 200% magic boost for 4 turns, enables access to a couple of other abilities on all of his abilities on Quadra Casting. For 4 turns, it's on a 6-turn cooldown, so that's the only access he has to Quadra Casting, but he can access it, so there's a couple of turns where he won't be able to access it. And his other cooldown is just 2000% magic attack with debuffs, Ice, Lightning, and Dark Resistance for 100% for 3 turns, 5-turn cooldown, available between 5. A little late, but he does have natural debuffing in his kit, I do believe, for those elements. Let me just scroll up. Yeah, 75% naturally. Not super great, but also not super bad either. And so, in general, Kefka is pretty straightforward. He doesn't have any, like, really weird unlocking stuff for his abilities. He is essentially what you get. He is a chainer. Can I please look at him? There we go. But he is, you know, a magic chainer. He has finishing abilities. He does have ways to unlock Quadra Casting, not as good as some of the other mages that are out there. Soul and Terra are probably more powerful than him because I do believe they have stronger passives in their kit. But this guy has an absolutely insane limit burst. If you're a fan of this guy, you're not going to be disappointed, I don't think. I think he's a pretty strong mage regardless. He seems really, really good. And probably one of the more survivable mages. So yeah, Kefka I give the thumbs up to as a general unit. This guy, a little bit less, but I think he might be better than I'm giving him credit for. Without testing, I think both units are pretty good. Not as stellar as some of the stuff we've seen, so if you're not super interested, easy pass, wait for Mog King next month when a new CG unit will probably break something else in the game. You know, in a category or something. And I'll talk about the 3- and 4-star battles next time, because this video's already running a bit long. Thanks for watching, see you next time.